Nana Vasconcelos, the world's foremost Brazilian percussionist, performing along with his good friend Ciro Batista, who's also my good friend, who appears on many of my Filmwork CDs and did a wonderful CD of his own on Avant called Villa Locos, performing the music of Heitor Villa-Lobos. This track was called Forró para Antero. It's on the soundtrack series, which again has really surprised me in just the variety of music that's out there for film. Very often you don't get to hear it because, well, Hollywood kind of has a straighter notion of what they want to put on their blockbuster films. But the soundtrack series on Tzadik really features some unusual musicians doing some wonderful, surprising music. So if you get a chance, go on down to your local record store and demand that they stock Tzadik records. That's Tzadik, spelled Tzadik, like the Hebrew letter that it's named after. Before Nana Vasconcelos, we heard Alvin Curran, who is a member of Musica Electronica Viva from the early 70s. He's been around for 30-odd years, really showing us some new sounds and taking us to some adventurous places. That was an excerpt from a piece called Animal Behavior that contained samples from the Bush administration, train robberies in the Middle East, Looney Tunes, elks, bugling, etc., etc. Animal Behavior, fantastic CD. Before that, we heard from a Boston klezmer jazz group called Naftali's Dream. Their first CD is Search for the Golden Dreidel, and this was another project that I just got in the mail. I heard the CD, loved it, talked to them on the phone, and we released the record. The track we heard was So New, composed by David Harris, and this band really combines Jewish tradition and jazz music, and they do it in a very original way. They make a small group of 5 or 6 players sound like a full orchestra. I'm really excited at the development of this band, Naftali's Dream. We started the set off with Giesborg performing her composition, The Woman is Perfected, from The Shadows in the Sea. This is John Zorn presenting music on the Tzadik label, a label that was started about 3 years ago. It's artist run and profit sharing, and we've put out about 100 or so CDs by this point. We'll move on to a CD on the New Japan series. Now, I spent about 10 or so years living off and on in Japan, 6 months out of each year, and had the privilege to work with a lot of great musicians. One of the most exciting sax players that I worked with, Shinoda Masami, unfortunately died a few years ago of a heart problem, and this CD is a live performance from a variety of venues in Japan of his band Compostela that features Nakao Kanji, also on soprano sax, and the great Sekijima Takero on tuba. This piece, written by Shinoda, is called View in a Box.